Ignorance is a self-imposed prison that blinds us to the vastness of our potential. The roots of ignorance run deep, choking the growth of wisdom. To embrace ignorance is to shun the light of knowledge. In ignorance, we wander aimlessly, blind to the truth that awaits us. Ignorance is the breeding ground for fear, while knowledge is the gateway to freedom. A mind clouded by ignorance can never truly see the beauty that surrounds it. Ignorance is a shield that guards us from the discomfort of truth. The true tragedy of ignorance is that it often parades as wisdom. In the realm of ignorance, prejudices reign and empathy withers. Ignorance is the darkness that dissolves when the torch of knowledge is lit. To break free from ignorance, one must embrace the humility to learn. Ignorance erects walls, knowledge builds bridges. The roots of ignorance thrive in the soil of arrogance. An ignorant mind is like a closed book, inaccessible to growth. In ignorance, we stumble, but through knowledge, we find our way. Ignorance breeds intolerance, while knowledge fosters understanding. The greatest enemy of progress is the acceptance of ignorance. Ignorance is a contagious disease that spreads through closed minds. The pursuit of knowledge dispels the shadows of ignorance. Ignorance is the barren soil in which wisdom's seeds cannot grow. In the garden of ignorance, wisdom is the untamed rose. The chains of ignorance bind the soul from its true potential. Ignorance is a silent storm that clouds the clarity of reason. In ignorance, we reject the unknown, stifling the curiosity that leads to growth. The heart shrouded in ignorance sees others as enemies instead of brethren. Ignorance is the silent assassin of empathy. In the darkness of ignorance, the light of truth can be blinding. The path to enlightenment begins with acknowledging our own ignorance. Ignorance is the prison of the mind. Knowledge is the key to escape. To challenge ignorance is to awaken the dormant spirit of inquiry. An ignorant mind is a barren canvas, void of life's vibrant colors. Ignorance is the veil that conceals the beauty of reality. In the realm of ignorance, wisdom is an outcast. Ignorance erects walls, but knowledge builds bridges. The seed of wisdom cannot take root in the soil of ignorance. To embrace ignorance is to reject the gift of enlightenment. Ignorance blinds us to the interconnectedness of all life. In ignorance, we perceive boundaries where none exist. Ignorance is a stagnant pond. Knowledge is the flowing river of growth. To seek knowledge is to unlock the shackles of ignorance. Ignorance is the fortress of stagnation. Knowledge is the catalyst of progress. In the realm of ignorance, prejudice is the reigning monarch. Ignorance is the rust that corrodes the machinery of progress. The light of knowledge dispels the shadows of ignorance. In the pursuit of knowledge, ignorance withers away. Ignorance is the seed of discord, while knowledge is the fruit of harmony. To cling to ignorance is to suffocate the seeds of curiosity. In ignorance, we are prisoners. Through knowledge, we become liberators. Ignorance is the void. Knowledge is the tapestry of meaning. To embrace ignorance is to deny the gift of enlightenment. Ignorance is the cage that traps the free spirit of inquiry. In the labyrinth of ignorance, knowledge is the guiding thread. The fortress of ignorance crumbles in the face of knowledge's might. Ignorance is the thief that steals the treasure of understanding. To befriend ignorance is to shun the companionship of wisdom. In ignorance, we stagnate. Through knowledge, we evolve. Ignorance is the shadow that retreats when the light of knowledge shines. The roots of ignorance dig deep, but the seeds of knowledge blossom higher. In the realm of ignorance, prejudice wears the crown of arrogance. Ignorance is a labyrinth. Knowledge is the map that leads to clarity. To embrace ignorance is to surrender to the abyss of uncertainty. Ignorance is the slumber from which knowledge awakens us. In the embrace of ignorance, wisdom lies dormant. Ignorance is the fog that obscures the path of enlightenment. To befriend ignorance is to shun the company of progress. In the garden of ignorance, wisdom's seed lies dormant. Ignorance is a self-inflicted wound that hinders the journey of growth. Ignorance is a veil that conceals the true essence of existence. In ignorance, we are prisoners. Through knowledge, we set ourselves free. Ignorance is the anchor that weighs down the sails of progress. The fruit of ignorance is bitter, but the harvest of knowledge is sweet. Ignorance is a wall that separates us from the boundless ocean of wisdom. In the realm of ignorance, fear reigns as a tyrant. Ignorance is the cloak that shields us from the light of truth. To embrace ignorance is to reject the pursuit of wisdom. In ignorance, we are lost. Through knowledge, we find our way. Ignorance is the stagnant pond. Knowledge is the flowing river of growth. Ignorance breeds contempt, while knowledge fosters compassion. In the embrace of ignorance, wisdom's flame remains dim. Ignorance is the seed of discord. Knowledge is the root of understanding.